Welcome back, csc103 class, to part 2 of our polygon random. And we're just going to put the names on our polygons. And if you look at your instructions here, you can see we're going to create a second list that basically has the names here. So we're going to have to type them out and put quotes on them. So that takes a little bit of time. So I'll try not to record myself typing them, but that's what we're going to do. And possibly, let's see, can I just copy this list? Maybe I could just do that, save myself some time. So I'm going to come back here. And after the first list, I'll see if I could paste that, and that worked perfect. So I copied it right from the instructions, and I'm also going to put a line break after the comma here. That way I didn't have to type them out, but you saw how to do it the first time with the quotes. So I created a second list called polys, and I have triangle, equilateral, and you could call this square if you want. And I'll put this one up so it's on that line, because I think I had an extra line break in my PDF file. So now I have 8 names of polygons here that I want to basically adjust to here. Now, before I do this, I don't want to make another random number because it's going to be random and it's not going to match up with the shape that I make. So we actually have to use a random number that matches up with rand sides. So we want rand sides because whatever that is, if it's 3, it's going to be a triangle. If it's 4, it's going to be equilateral, and so on. Except we have index numbers are 0. So we just have to do a little trick here just to adjust what we're doing. So we just want to put a name. Now the hardest part is actually putting the name down here. So after we draw the polygon down here, we're actually going to create a new turtle. So we got a little bit of work before we do that. We're going to create a new turtle, and we'll just call him Todd, because we used Todd before. And I'll even put a space here. And remember, equals turtle.turtle from a turtle class. So we'll create an instance of a turtle. We didn't do that before. We'll do that now. And what we're going to do with Todd is we're going to say he's going to be black, so we don't have to put anything for color, and we're not going to make him a turtle shape. What we are going to do with Todd is we're going to have to make him go to a certain place. So we'll have to put a Todd.goto and put like an XY. I'm not sure what I'm going to use yet, so I'm just going to put XY. And that's why I'm getting those numbers, because they have to be defined. And then we're also going to use something called, we did this with the stop sign. We're going to use Todd.write. And what we do in here is we put what we want to write, and what we're going to write is actually going to be the name. And let me just put name. I'll just put in quotes right now just to get this started. And then we're going to put a comma, and we can do font equals, and then in parentheses we're going to do, I guess we could do Arial or something, I think, and it's with an A, just so you know. It's not with an E like the Little Mermaid, it's with an A. So we're going to use Arial, and then after this I'm going to put a comma, and I'll put a size, and I'm going to do like 24. And that needs quotes as well. So make sure you put quotes on the number and the font. So I think that's right. And X and Y, where are we going to put it? Now, right now, this is the 0, 0 point. Every time we create something, this is the 0, 0. So we're going to have Todd go down a little bit, a negative amount. So maybe like a -50, and then maybe have him go over like a negative amount. So I'll make his Y be a -50, and then his X, he'll be over a little bit. I'll just try him at, and just by trial and error, I found out that if it's somewhere close to what the point size is, it kind of works out, maybe even a little bit more. So I'm just going to do -30. And we're not getting it perfect in terms of positioning underneath, but we're going to try that first. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run it. So let me save what I have so far, and I'm going to run it. And it's creating something, and it's yellow again. And there I see name. And if I think the name's too big, I can make it a little smaller, or in terms of the space. But name is short, so it's not as long. So now we see a turtle, and we also have the line. So we know what we have to do there. We need to go, before he goes to anywhere, we have to do Todd.penUp, and then we also want to hide Todd after he's done. So after he writes the name, we want to hide him. Now maybe we could hide it right now before he even goes to there, but it might hide the word. So let me try it before and see what happens. We'll do Todd.hideTurtle. If we have a problem, we'll change it. And then what's happening, it's writing the word name, and then it's putting it in that font and in that font size. So that's working. So make sure that works first, even though we're not going to use name. This is just like a placeholder. So what we are going to use is we're going to use something from polys. So we're going to use one of the polys. Now we need to match it up. So what it's actually going to match up to is whenever random sides is running, it's going to be running a random number either 3 through 10. We want to make sure 3 equals 0, and we want to make sure 4 equals 1, and we want to make sure 5 equals 2. Now when I say that, what's actually happening? If 3 is the same as 0 and 4 is the same as 1, we're subtracting 3 each time. So what we could do is use the same random number, except this time we're basically just going to subtract 3 from it. So if we go into here and where it has the name here, I'm actually just going to put the variable, and the variable is polys, and we use the square brackets to indicate the index number. So if we just put a number in here, like remember, if we just put like a 3 in here, polys 3 would be 0, 1, 2, 3. It would say hexagon. So let's just try it out and just see if it writes it. So I'm going to run it. Okay, and it says hexagon, although it's not a hexagon, it's a nanogon, because I don't have the sides here. Hexagon, it's saying hexagon again, so I don't want a hexagon. What I want, instead of a number in here, I want to use ran sides. So I want to use ran underscore sides as my index number, because remember, ran sides actually represents the random number from 3 through 10. And 3 through 10 is the triangle, is basically a 3-sided, which is a triangle, through 10-sided, which is a decagon. Except I don't want to use 3, because 3 would match up with 0, would match up with hexagon. So I don't want to use that. So what I could do is ran sides and just say -3, because it's actually going to -3 each time. So instead of, if it comes up with a 3, it's going to be 0, which is triangle. And that means they'd be the same. So if ran sides is 3 and this number is 0, that would mean it's a triangle, because it has 3 sides, and it also means it's the 0 index, which is triangle. So that means they'll match up. So let's see if this works. So I'll scroll up here a little bit so I can see my run button. And that looks like a heptagon, because there's 7 sides, there's 7, and that works out. So let me adjust this a little bit. Now that one's off a little bit, so I'll just put a 2 in here. Now these aren't going to be perfect, these go-to things, so they're never going to be perfect, so don't try to get them perfect unless you come up with some kind of mathematical way of doing it. But I'll run this now, and now what I'm getting is there's an octagon, and it says octagon, and that looks pretty centered. And I'll run it again. And that's a decagon. That has 10 sides. Or I could, it looks, just try it out, make sure it's matching it up, and it's doing random colors. And there's equilateral, and that's right too. There's a hexagon. Got it. All right. So we got random colors going on here. We got random polygons, and then we have the correct name, so in case we didn't know or we don't feel like counting them, we can show the name coming up. So everything's working out here. So that's pretty much it for 16 polygon random. We just had this little trick down here. We just had to use the same random number and subtract 3. So this is the hardest part down here, this little blurb down here. But everything else was pretty much what we used on the other one, and we just had 2 lists, colors and polys. We generated 2 random numbers, one so that there's a random color which is separate from the shapes, and one with random sides, so we come up with random polygons, and it's running through this little filter here, which is making our angle correct, and we already have the function here, and we're running the function, so everything's working okay. Notice also that it's doing this Todd stuff after the function. So it's drawing the polygon, then the Todd thing is doing its own little thing after that. So you don't want it to say heptagon before the thing is created. So that's why we put this after the function call. So that's it. So all you have to do is make sure you save, and then make sure you share it, and then take your link and then copy it, and then take your link and go into here and just add a comment and hit the link thing, paste your link, make sure you use new window so it opens in a new window, hit OK, and maybe make it a little bigger. And that's it. Now I have 3 in here. These are the 2 practice ones I did for polygon input, but you'd obviously want to put it in the right exercise, because I have them set up as different exercises for polygon input and polygon. So that's polygon random, and hopefully it worked out okay for you. If you have any questions, let me know.